Welcome to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk, and this is The Thunder Show. And today we will be focusing on a food and wine pairing that makes me very, very happy. We've got some foie gras pate from D'Artagnan, who they're making great stuff, great foie gras products. You know, little goose liver never hurt anybody, and we've got a little foie gras pate with California Red Zinfandel. Maybe not the most obvious food and wine pairing that you've ever come across, but definitely one that I have found to be a sneaky combo of fun, excitement, and delivering pleasure beyond your wildest dreams. And I'm going to share that combo with you today because that's how I do. I love the Vaynerchuks and I want to give them what they want, which is some new experiences. So without further ado, we're going to get right into the wines. What I'm planning on doing today is tasting through the wines and then kind of going through the pairing. A little focus on the wines, but then still focusing on the pairing at the end. So what we're going to do first is the Dancing Bull 2005 Zinfandel. This wine is $7.10, and I'm excited about offering this because, one, it's very, very popular and widely available. So, you know, a lot of people complain about not being able to find the wines that are on WLTV. So we're starting off with a great entry level. I almost can't help it. I had to. It's just so delicious. And this has a little truffles in it. Anyway, so what I've always found is that the Zinfandel, which is really interesting stuff, brought over to Europe, from Europe, in the 1800s to America via Long Island, not California. A real fun fact there for you. The Zins are a lot of fun. People really like the alcohol content, the explosiveness. They got very popular in the early 90s with the invasion of Turley and Martinelli Zins to the big ratings from Robert Parker, and people really got crazy about them. Dancing Bull has really been a hot entry-level Zin, so I'm excited about trying this. It's really nice color. And what I've always found is that the Zinfandels pair up so nice with the fatty richness, overindulgence of what foie gras brings to the table. Now, foie gras is really traditionally much more known for pairing with Sauterne and other dessert wines, but there's just been something about this combo that's been really working for me for a long time, and I'm excited about showing. So, right off the bat, what we love about Zinfandel is the explosive power and structure that these wines always bring to the table. I'm always very fascinated by the brightness and the fruit and the complexity that the Zin brings. And right off the bat, the Dancing Bull is definitely bringing very beautiful floral, spicy, interesting, almost like a red radish component mixed with a plum. So radishes and plum can coexist on a nose like this. So it's got a really interesting and exotic bouquet. Let's give it a whirl. Now this is brought to us by Rancho Zabaco, 13.9% alcohol content. I enjoy the black pepper component I'm getting from here, but I'm also getting a little bit of a fakeness that I talk about, which is that high C artificial flavor. I'm getting a little bit of that. I'm getting some bright, almost like orange peel component that's really quite interesting. It's a nice entry-level wine. There's nothing wrong with this wine. It's got good mouthfeel. It does have a little awkwardness to it on the flavor. All in all, kind of meh, as they say. I'm going to score this wine 83 points. It doesn't bother me at $7.10. It definitely doesn't change my life, but it's definitely something worth kind of seeking out. It's a good little entry level Zin that falls a little short this time, but hopefully over time can evolve a little bit. I don't know. Just not really doing it for me. Let's move on. Ravenswood 2005 Lodi Zinfandel. 15% alcohol content, 89 to 90 points. Josh Reynolds, $11 US. This is Old Vine Zin. It's got some really vibrant color here. Let's give this a little bit of a rinse. Let's see what's going on here. Not as dark as the Rancho. The Ravenswood's a little bit less dark, and actually can see your fingers through that, which is a very uncommon thing with red Zin, so I'm already kind of intrigued. Ravenswood is a classic name, real legendary producer of Zinfandel in California. This comes from Lodi, which is an area that's really starting to pick up some steam, really for their Zins and their Sauvignon Blancs. I've been very kind of interested in paying a lot of attention to what's going on with the Lodi fruit. The fruit's a little bit cheaper, less expensive down there, so you're able to make good values. I mean, a Ravenswood Zin that gets 90 points, 89 to 90 points from a Josh Reynolds, who I have a lot of respect for $11. I mean, this could be a singing sweetheart of a deal. Very interesting nose, almost like a... there's like a dessert. I think you see more in Europe than anywhere else. Almost like a cottage cheese with fruit. You see, right? So this reminds me of cottage cheese with strawberries and raspberries, which is quite nice, quite interesting. Let's give it a whirl. Walking that fine line of fake fruit and alcohol in this wine as well, but far less than the Rancho. I love the completeness of this wine. It's got very good complexity. I'm very, very intrigued by the chocolate-covered, peppered strawberries that I'm getting on this. So everybody loves chocolate-covered strawberries, but now if you douse some, let's go with the fresh pepper, on that, not so sure it's such a Valentine's Day gift. However, in wine, it's coming across very attractive. Much better mouthfeel, more viscous, more complete, more overwhelming, let's say, than the Dancing Bull. This is a nice little wine for $11. I said I was going to save it for the end, but I have to do it now. I'm going to have to because I'm really liking this wine. And Mott, I want to enjoy myself sometimes. So on a little cracker, this has foie gras. Now, this is an interesting pate from D'Artagnan. This has duck foie gras, Sauterne wine, little Sauterne wine, truffles, truffle oil, salt, corn, is that salt and corn? Salt and corn, starch and a little sugar. So it's got a couple different ingredients, but obviously the truffles is what got me excited. I don't think this is good for the cholesterol. Kahuna just caught up a little more. But what this does to your palate, and I know a lot of you are not foie gras fans, but the exotic flavors that this brings, it's so good. Oh my God, do you like foie gras?
I've never really had it.
You want to try?
No.
Mott, let's get Mott on camera. He's going to try foie gras for the first time for the Vayner Nation. They're going to go nuts for this. They're going to love it. Now this is it's a delicatessen. It's something different. So Mott, go ahead. Not bad. You like it?
It's different.
Tell the truth. The Vayniacs want to know the truth. You don't like it, right? It's not his style. Listen, foie gras is definitely it's an acquired taste, but I am all about it. I'm sure a lot of people who watch this are. It's definitely one of these things. It's a line in the sand. We saw the Mott. He was trying to be good, but lucky told the truth. That's what we do. So I can't get enough of it. Now with the Zin. Yeah, I mean, this is an absolute sneaky combo. I've never heard anybody bring it up before. I think with the fat covering your palate, the Zin is able to really show a little more of its fruit, which I like quite a bit. And if it's got good, clear, distinctive fruit, like a wine like this, it really shows well. I mean, this is really outstanding. For $11, I think Josh hit the nail on the head. I'm gonna go 90 points on this wine. This is a Zinfandel steal. Kudos to Ravenswood, a big producer. A lot of times you think of big producers that are owned by big conglomerates not being able to produce quality wine. That is totally not the case here. This wine absolutely brings the thunder. $11, baby. 1-1. That's awesome. That's what wine is all about. Good for them. Good work. Let's move on. Now this is fun. This is Peachy Canyon 2004 from Paso Robles, Old School House Zinfandel, $22. And this is in French and American oak, aged 90 points Parker, $22. And Peachy Canyon is one of my favorite all-time producers of Red Zinfandel. It's really interesting to me to see how the wine world works. Zins were nothing, then they got so hot, then they crashed down, and now they're kind of getting trendy again. So it's a lot of fun to see Zinfandel. Great grape. I think it brings really interesting wines from California. Really almost the most character, in my opinion. You can get such a wide variety of Zinfandels, much more than I feel than you can get from Syrah and Cabernet. out of California. And so I'm a fan of Zins. Paso Robles is another different area. We're really dancing around the areas, which is fun. The next one's a Russian River. So I like that we're hitting different parts of California. You get different style, different terroir. I'm a big fan of Peachy Canyon. They make really good Zinfandels. And Josh Beckett is the winemaker. The ace of the Boston Red Sox has time to make Peachy Canyon? Unbelievable. Now he's on my fantasy team and pushing me to a championship. I spit all over the place just now. That's how excited I am. Plenty of Yankee fans watching. They're not going to like this comment, but I got him cheap, and he's been bringing the thunder. And let's give this a little bit of a smell. Now, this is that custard pie candy that I talk about. This is Skittles. This is the rainbow in here. This is a lot of fruit roll-ups, and wrap them in Skittles, and then put like some, eclairs around them. That's kind of where this is going. Oh yeah, this is really candy-esque. A little soapiness now coming through on the finish too. So it gets very candy, and then kind of finishes with that Mr. Bubbles or fresh dry cleaning. That it gets a little soapy, a little laundry mat on me. So you go to the laundry mat with your fruit roll-ups and your Skittles, put them in your mouth, open the door and stick your head in, smell. That's what this smells like. Let's give it a whirl. A little hot, 15.3 alcohol, so it's definitely bringing a little more heat than I would like. I have a feeling that might go away a little bit. Ooh, this is a transition wine. This is a wine, when they talk about filmmakers, I've been watching the reality show about filmmakers, and they talk about transition and things of that nature. Wines go, the key from the beginning to the mid-palate to the finish is such a big deal when I evaluate wines. It's interesting for me. This wine hits on all cylinders. Not only is it a good pitcher, this Josh Beckett is clearly an extremely fine-tooled winemaker. I am completely impressed how the orange peel and raspberry flavors coexist on the finish with a beautiful hint of chocolate, little coffee action going through, very subtle, and then to a long, very mouthful, jammy raspberry, heated up raspberry jam. I use that term a lot. That is a great term for here, especially with the alcohol shooting a little bit. I like this wine a lot. I'm going to go 91 plus on this wine. This is a definite winner for Zinfandel, and we're having a pretty good Zin day. I'm pretty excited about this. 91 plus in the Peachy Canyon. It's rocking. This wine is bringing the thunder, and you know what? Well, I lied. I said I was going to do everything at the end, but I'm just curious how the matchups are. How do you not like it? It's candy.
It's an acquired taste.
It's an acquired taste. Yeah. There's definitely much more than the cheeses that we did a couple days ago. The foie is definitely coating the palate in a way where the flavor is being really integrated nicely. You get a much more intense flavor out of the Zinfandel. But again, when it's a good flavor, you like that. It's like, hey, it tastes more of the good stuff. Give me the good stuff. I like the good stuff. Get one more cracker. Clean out the palate a little bit. And finally, why not? 2005 Hartford Russian River Zinfandel, $23 US, 90 points Josh Reynolds, and I'm absolutely interested in trying this wine. Again, it comes from small French oak barrels, very small barriques. They're picking at very low yields. This is a very serious winery, Hartford. They make very serious wines. I'm a big fan of their wines overall. I'm excited about trying this. It has some really nice color. Again, beautiful bouquet, really nice nose. Getting some black raspberries coming through. Remember those from the palate training? Finally, they popped up. That's pretty cool. A long time ago. Very intriguing pepper component coming through. Also, again, a beautiful fruit component. Very lively on the fruit. Interesting. Reminds me a little of the Peachy Canyon, just maybe a tone below. Let's give it a whirl. very polished. Finish gets a little bitey there at the end. 15.5 alcohol content. Very big alcohol content. Pretty good job keeping it under control. The fruit is very powerful. I find it a little dull. I find it a little bit one-dimensional. Kind of like it's got one core flavor of blackberry and a little bit of like a white black pepper component splitting through. Kind of interesting that way. I'm getting a hint of blueberry pie as well, which is kind of interesting. I like that. I find it boring. I don't know what it is. It just tastes like a lot of $15 Zinfandels that are kind of meh. I'm going to go 87 points in this wine. I can't agree with Josh on this one. I think it's a nice wine. It's well made. It's very smooth, but it almost feels muted down. Almost like the oak got a little bit... And it doesn't taste that oaky. I don't know. It just seems... It's like a... It's kind of like Mike Tyson during the interview that he gave to Robin Givens to Barbara Walters. You knew there was something wrong. He was like drugged. I almost feel like this wine is like drugged. You know, like Peachy Canyon, while I wasn't looking, kind of like shot it up and said, "You're not going to do anything today." It just kind of didn't bring it. It's well made. It feels good. It tastes nice. It's just nice doesn't cut it on the Thunder Show. So we're going to give it a pass. But what I'm going to tell you is the foie gras is not a pass. Love it. And pan-seared, forget it. And I'm eating this much because I can't really order it anymore, you know. Decent show. I don't feel so bad. Wines were interesting. I think Zinfandel is something you got to really pay attention to. If you're not drinking Zins, go seek them out. Give Zins a chance. Make sure in your next case you have one or two. They're really fun wines. I find them very intriguing. I love the purity of fruit. And there's a lot of dimensions to Zins. So if you had one or two, please don't just jump off and say, "I don't like Zins anymore." That happens all the time with wine. It makes me sick. Question of the day. What is your favorite all-time Red Zinfandel? And how many Zinfandels have you had? Survey time. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether you like it or not.